This just goes live, if I recall. I do not like change, specifically the change to Twitch. Oh, we're live.
The dashboard?
Yeah. All right, next I'm going to check the mic volume. So first you talk.
Hello, Gwen. How are you? Does this sound good to you? I hope it does.
Okay, and now I'm going to talk. I'm going to hear how it sounds. So first you talk.
Hello, Gwen. How are you? Does this sound good to you? I hope it does.
Okay, and now I'm going to talk. I'm going to hear how it sounds. So, all right, that sounded good to me. Sounded good to me. Sound good to you? You can't tell the difference.
No. I was like,
me.
You sound good to me. I'm posting in the Chump Squad Discord that we're live.
Yeah, Discord, right. I forget that exists, which is good.
That's what I'm here for, Gwen.
I'm on too many social media things. I'm having difficulty focusing. We could talk about this in the podcast. It's that early time.
Yeah. This is like some old school dialogue box.
Getting back to Gwen's just making shit. Gwen's mad about stuff. You know, the old dialogue boxes, they were a lot more emotional, and the reason they were more like all over the place was because we always did them at the same time, whether I was in a good mood or bad mood.
Yeah.
And I'm usually like first thing in the morning before I've eaten food was when I would do it. So I would just be kind of like hungry or sad. Do you remember those early ones?
Yeah, where they were all about the Steam analytics and everyone was worried. It was like, oh no.
And I know, I used to go on about that and how much I hated that. And then Sergey, the guy that made that, got hired at Epic, and now I've like met him several times, and he's a good person. But I'll never be like, I used to publicly talk about how you're ruining my life. Like, it'll never.
Well, it wasn't
your
him.
website.
It was
your website.
It was knowledge.
Yeah, well, the knowledge is terrible.
Well, it turned out, but we certainly got a lot of good episodes out of it. Like that.
Did we?
No.
Did we? I don't know. Did people like those old episodes where we were just like sad? Maybe.
I don't know. People listen to them. Like, I don't like. I know you. I think you get more feedback than like I ever do because
no one tells me shit.
It's a game dev podcast, and I think game devs will tell you like, oh, I listened to this, or like I think this is good. Whereas like the general populace, we don't tend to hear too much from, like whether it's good or bad.
No, I assume the only people that follow me are game developers. I know, like I look at the people who follow me on Twitter. It's really just only game developers.
Yeah, I mean, you could. Don't get me wrong. You got a good audience of. I forgot to look at the camera, sorry, because I can't see you. So I'm kind of just going like this, like it's just an audio conversation. Sorry, everyone watching. This is what it looks like when we normally do a podcast, not online. Like I'm normally just like, yeah, well, you know, this is all like.
Ironically, when we do normal podcasts, we can't see each other. This is just a weird thing. Freya was explaining it last week, like how I'd have to get the feed from my camera to go out of OBS into the Hangouts, and I was just like, I don't want to learn a new thing. And then this video chat's going away anyway. Like Google's deprecating this one, and I gotta learn the new one. I think so. Yeah, they're getting rid of like Hangouts and video and making a new thing.
Oh God, why didn't they? What happened to Duo? Like, wasn't that the thing?
Elliot, what's up, man?
Who knows? Anyway, yeah, like the vibe definitely for this outset of like things we're going to talk about definitely feels like Dialogue Box classic. Like if you were doing that, like old school fans. This would be the one like we're putting out the new album. We're like, this is some old school shit.
Chris, is my nose crooked in like real life, or is it just like a?
Is your nose crooked in real life? I've never noticed.
Is it like the lighting in my room? I swear it's.
See, I can't see you right now, but like I've seen you in real life for multiple hours, and I never thought she has a crooked nose. And I would tell you if you did, and you direct. Like, I wouldn't just tell you, but if you directly asked like this, I would. You got a crooked nose, by the way. No way.
You do. Did you play Death?
Yeah.
I was doing the thing, you know, on Death Stranding. Oh God, what a fucking weird game.
Played it.
Oh, you won't get it then. There's a thing in the mirror in Death.
Tell me about it.
There's a thing in Death Stranding where, for like no reason, you just start making faces in the mirror and like doing random shit. That's my favorite.
Is it like? Because I know you've got like a little base where your Monster Energy drinks are. Like,
yeah, it's in that.
Is it in there?
I think so. I don't know, man. Like, that game's... It's fun to be in the room where it's happening as a witness. I can't imagine it's fun to actually, like, play. I was looking at that,
really?
like, that looks actively not fun. And I had to play a little bit for, like, to evaluate the animation or whatever, but it's like... I just had my boyfriend give me the controller at random increments, and I was like, okay, I get the gist.
So, like, I was always a fan of Kojima's bullshit from, like, Metal Gear Solid 1 to, like, Metal Gear Solid 4. And you only really like Metal Gear Solid 4 because you played Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I do, because Metal Gear Solid 4 is a slog. But it was like, I got a lot of plot I need to know about after these last 3 games. So I'll sit through this. Metal Gear Solid 5 didn't really do anything for me.
This is the pre-podcast Tanishan.
This is what?
Oh, somebody in chat was asking if this is the podcast of the pre-roll.
Oh, this is the podcast now, isn't it?
I don't think so. No. We officially...
this isn't the real thing. I realized that. I didn't know. We just started talking. This is pre-roll. Sorry, I wasn't looking at chat at all. I should look at that.
Oh, yeah. Whatever. Your Wi-Fi is not great. I advocate you doing whatever makes
I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe do it like, you can look at the chat on your mobile phone. Because that goes to the wireless whatever's, right?
Yeah. Actually, I don't need to look at it anyway. No one's like, Chris, Gwen, don't read this, but Chris, only you must know the truth. Yeah, I guess this is pre-roll. So, yeah. Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Twitch chat. I'm not looking at you, but I'm thinking about you in my head.
All right, we should probably start though. You have an idea what we're going to talk about. Can you? I missed back with the day when you would start it.
I can start.
Yeah.
Although we always used to once I think it only took like 2 episodes for you to get like you were fine, like you were confident, like you didn't need a person that was like leading in any way. Mm-hmm. So it would be like I would be like, hey, welcome to DialogBoxLive, and you'd be like, nah. Do it again. You're doing this like you're comparing like a bingo hall. Like, don't. That's not. Don't. That's OG Dialog Box.
Actually, back in the day, how long have we been doing this?
About 3 years, I want to say.
Jesus.
I think it might even be longer than that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I can look right now before we start.
To be fair, the last year was a lot of like bad times for Chris Light.
Yeah, the last year was like actually someone like because I was just at PAX South because that starts tomorrow, and I was hanging out with Finji people, and someone from Finji actually asked about they literally said, "Are you not doing that podcast with Gwen anymore?" Because I know she's still doing it, and I was like, "Well, it's been a thing." 2016 we started this podcast, Gwen.
Damn.
Jeez. Yeah, it's like it's been a year, so I hadn't been on it much, and she's doing very well doing it with interviewing and stuff. So yeah,
we'll do half. I do love the interviews, but we should do half and half because I miss we have better banter because we know each other more, and it's less like it's more fun. I don't know. They're both fun. I like meeting people.
It's a different vibe. Like when you're interviewing people, it's learning stuff about game dev and different elements of it. When it's talking to me, it's a lot more bullshit. So it's like this is the just bullshit fun times.
Yeah. Well, good. I like the bullshit fun times too.
Yeah.
All right. You wanna kick us off, Chris Slight?
Can do. Shall I just start and roll right into it?
I don't know. Do what you feel.
Hey, welcome to the Dialog Box. It's me again, talking at the start of the Dialog Box, Chris Slight, and I am here yet again with my good friend Gwen Frey. Gwen, how you doing?
That was terrible. Do it again.
Yeah, okay, let's do it again.
No, I'm kidding. No, we're going to use this. We're going to use all this. It's good to hear. Oh, man, it's good to see you. It's good to hear your voice. You're out there. You're a little, the audio's not perfect. It's because you are on hotel Wi-Fi right now, right?
Yes. Yeah, I am in San Antonio. This has been recorded the day before PAX South. So I'm out here for XSplit. And yeah, I'm in a Marriott in San Antonio. So exotic for me. They've got a peacock down there for some reason.
That sounds exotic. I don't think that's indigenous to San Antonio.
I don't think it is.
I don't know for sure. Yeah.
I'm not sure why they've got that, but They've got a small looking cage for it, which looks kind of sad that I noticed in the corner. And I was like, oh.
Oh, that's depressing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Are you, how long has it been since you've been to a show? I mean, you came with me to PAX, so PAX Prime, I guess.
Yeah, even while I was at Meow Wolf, I was still working part-time with XSplit, and they sent me to a couple of shows. I worked a show, PAX West, with you, and
Yeah.
so you sent me to that one. And yeah, so it's last year I still went to like a few shows. I think I did PAX South. I think I did East. No, I don't think I did do East. I think I just did PAX South and West. Anyway, point being, I still did a couple, so not
Yeah.
too long.
Yeah. I was going to say you're getting
Yeah.
back on the horse, but you never got off the horse. You just never quit.
No, I legitimately, I was talking to because I was hanging out with some people from Finji today, and I helped them do some setup on their booth and stuff because I'd done the things I had to do, and I was like, yeah, why not? These people are really nice, and I would like to do something.
Finji, like, I've helped them deconstruct their booth before. They have that stuff down to science. They know exactly what, like, Bex runs that show. It's beautiful to watch.
It's really good as well, because when you turn up, and when she says, yes, you can help, she knows exactly what you're going to be doing. And once you've done that, it's exactly what you're doing. It's really good, because, like, you normally turn up and go, can I help something? It's like, you could, like, do... She's like, no, you could do that. That is what you could do to help. That would be very useful.
Is she still part of... So that for a while, they were starting to do a thing called the Playground, where a bunch of indies banded together and made, like, a new small area that was, like... I thought that was her. There's something called the Playground that has, like, Rami's booth, Finji, and I think, like, 3 other indies. They all kind of, like, rent the same space.
Yeah, Vlambeer are, like, right next to them. I didn't notice, like, an official, like, name to the area, so I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if it's... They like made a company to basically it's cheaper to rent out a whole block. It's kind of like what the Indie Mega Booth does, but it's only for the same like 5 indies each time. I think they're still doing that. I'm not sure.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they do all the shows, so it does make sense. Oh, we're getting into that season right now. We are. All the shows are starting. Like it's like DICE, GDC, I think this year PAX. They're spread out a little bit. We got a week between PAX and GDC, which is nice.
I won't hear every game dev being like everyone being sad. Like it's normally I turn up at PAX East, I'm like, hey, PAX East, and everyone's like,
no,
this has been the worst like week, and I'm like, but it's just beginning, like not for me. Like I've never been because it's a game developers thing, and I've never had any call to go to a GDC. So PAX East was always kind of like the now, but then that feels like it's like 3 weeks away or something crazy.
Yeah, that's coming up pretty fast. I don't know if it's earlier this year or what. I'm pretty excited about it though. It's my local show, so I'm always kind of like excited about that one. Yeah. It's a lot easier for me. Yeah, it's good. I like it. I think people are more rested at PAX Prime, so I think PAX Prime's a little more fun for talking to other devs, but I don't know, I like all of them. I could stack rank the shows. You have to at some point you have to choose which ones you're going to go to. Like I can't, I'm one person. I can't pull off like Rami and Finji going to every goddamn show. Like, you gotta pick some favorites. Yeah.
And like if you can scrape together like a little crew, like maybe, but like that's it. It's a bit more different, and you know, Finji got like multiple games that they're publishing. Like you're just a Gwen, like
yeah. It's fun being a Gwen. I don't know what I want to do in the future. Like if I want to grow the studio large or small. I spend a lot of time thinking about it. To be honest,
I want to talk to you about all that stuff because we've discussed like the dead year of Chris Light, like it's like mid 2018 to like end 2019. It was like, and like I'm very out of the loop. Like Kine finished and came out, and now we're in post period, and like I've got no idea. I mean, I have a vague idea because I like see you doing stuff, but like we haven't been talking like every week like we used to, so I don't know what you're doing. So like, what are you doing? I've seen you like I went online once and it looked like you were making a game, and I was like, oh, she's already she's like going already.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a certain amount of everybody handles the end of a project differently. I actually tend to always be exactly the same in that as soon as the project ends, I just for some reason have to start prototyping the next thing, and I almost always throw it out, but I just can't stop like on a dime. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
that sounds exactly like you. Like,
yeah.
I finish a project by starting another project.
And then throwing it away because like I can't get to that place where I can chill for a while. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but gross.
I have no idea how loud that sounded. I am very sorry. I realize the microphone I've got is right there, so sorry
Anyway,
about that.
it's all
I was
good.
just blowing my nose for audio listeners. Sorry.
Yeah. The what were we talking about before the nose
You
situation?
find it difficult to
Oh.
just stop working
Maybe. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I would.
after a project. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like you didn't have like a big decompress period, or at
I
least
did.
like from my perspective, it was just suddenly like, oh, she's already doing something else.
I always
Shit.
do. I always do. It just isn't usually like the week after. It's
Yeah.
usually like the month after. Like December, I was pretty much just I flew around, I visited family, I relaxed for like all of December, pretty
Oh,
much.
nice.
So yeah.
But what are you doing like now?
You're right. I'm prototyping the next games, and the like. I could talk at length about this. Like I spent a lot of time thinking about how the ideal way to make games and so forth, and I am actually a really big believer in kind of. I strongly believe that you need to have a very small core, tight team, and then figure out what your game is. Keep your team very small while you're in pre-pro, and then only balloon up in pre-production. Ideally using outsourcing or contracting in some way, and then drop back down again. And I think that's unless you're a multi-project studio or a larger thing, that's just kind of like the right way to do it. Otherwise, you ramp up. If you hire people full time and you ramp up, then you end up like either needing to lay people off, or every game has to be bigger than the next so that you can ramp up again and always get bigger and bigger. And I don't think I want to do that. And so I knew like philosophically what I want to do is hang out and prototype stuff and make another game. And I was there's a lot of options right now. There's just so many avenues for me to potentially get funding, maybe depending on what I want to make, but it doesn't really make sense to think about any of it until I know what I want to make. So I was spending some time. Like I know there's things I like. Like I like tactics games, I like strategy games, I like puzzle games. I'm prototyping different kind of like puzzly tactics games similar to Into the Breach. Like just one of those each day. And I did decide to work with I'm experimenting with working with a programmer. We're trying to make a prototype together, basically.
Who is that? I've heard you mention that before. If you can say, I don't know.
No, I mean I can't. I've been cagey about it in case it falls apart because
Be as cagey as you like. We're live on the internet, so you know.
It's okay. Shit. How do I put this? I don't talk about my significant other very much, but he was the gameplay programmer in the original BioShock, and we've always kicked around the idea of working together. Because we've been dating for many, many years, and we happen to have skill sets that completely perfectly complement each other. And I always said no forever. In fact, back when we were founding the Molasses Flood, we needed a programmer, and he was at the time he was like, because he had started a company, he did pretty well for himself, and he was just kind of like taking a break at the time after selling his shares in the company. He was like, oh, I'm not doing anything. Why don't I be your programmer? And I was like, fuck no. And all my business partners were like, fuck no. Because we'd only been dating for less than a year at that point. And we thought, like, if this goes south, that's very bad. If we both own a company together, especially with other people.
Yeah, that seems like a bad idea. Like, yeah.
In general, I just don't. I believe there's a lot of reasons not to do something like this. Like, it's important to keep your personal life and your professional life separate. It's sucks in a lot of ways because you can never turn it off. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you live in the same place that you're also working in. Like that's pretty intense.
Yeah, and it's hard to explain. Like, you can have a heated conversation at work and you want that to stay at work, or vice versa, which is happens. Like, no relationship is perfect, and it's just. I know logically there's a lot of couples out there, like married couples that have that run studios together. Fucking Bex Finchie. Finchie's an incredible example of that, right? The Saltzmans. But I just never really thought that would be my path. But he has the exact perfect skill set, and so we're kicking around the idea of maybe working together. And we have been for a while. We kind of started in we actually started in November before we kind of went on vacation for a month, and decided that this definitely wouldn't work, and decided not to do it. And,
Why?
well,
What happened?
It turns out our skill sets are too opposite.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Well, there's a certain amount of how do I put it? There's a phrase that programmers use, which is called coding fearlessly, I guess. Which is like, instead of sitting down and planning something like an architect from beginning to end, you just kind of like scrap shit to like get it working. And you could argue I am the furthest you could possibly be on that end of the spectrum, to the point where I'm not even a programmer. I'm just making crap in scripting, right? Like in scripting languages and shipping it, apparently. Like that's like the end that I'm on, and he's on the other end. Like he is low level programmer. So it's a lot of like, I figure out what I'm making by making it. And he's definitely like, tell me exactly what to do so we can make sure it's architected perfectly. And so, yeah, like it's, he would not put it that way, but I would put it that way, that we had difficulty prototyping early on, but we kind of like quit, gave up, took a month off, and then started again in January. And we still might not do this. Like, that's why I didn't want to talk about it too much, but it's looking like we're going to give it an honest shot. He made like a really awesome, oh God, you won't understand what I'm saying right now, but like it's like there's something in Kind where he made something that would have been really nice to have in Kind, and that is really nice for a tactics game, which is just a way of like seeing which tiles we can move to and filtering them properly and stuff. And I don't know, we're starting to get to that. We figured out a kind of a pace to things, so we'll see. We'll see.
Cool.
I don't know, man. I've never been good at work-life balance is the other thing. Like there's a bit of that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really tough. Like for most people, like actually being able to pull that off, and when your work and life are now so intermingled, like you say, it's going to be very difficult to like stop the work. It like, because there'll still be your conversations, and you'll still be the same two people. So once they kind of entwine,
yeah, it's also like giving up. I've always worked with other people really easily until Kind, and now I'm like, I'm the creative director, and you're just going to do what I say. And I don't think like that's just not how it's going to. Like that was fine when it was a solo project, and I hired a couple contractors at the end. It's not fine like when you're collaborating with people in a game, because this is an equal collaboration. So I got to get over myself, which sounds really pretentious and terrible, but is actually harder than you would think, apparently.
Well, yeah. I mean, it will be. Like you say, you go from one extreme to the other, and yeah, you definitely can't just be like, well, because you have to do it to someone that you're like, well, but aren't we meant to come to an agreement together on this thing that we are doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting. So, like, what, if you can say, like, what sort of a game are you prototyping at the moment? Is it still the puzzly, tactic-y game, or are you like thinking of other shit?
I mean, it's going to be some sort of tactics game. Like I've come up with a couple of different things. I'm just trying shit right now. It's kind of hard to explain, but they're all just different variants of different kinds of tactics games and different ideas for it. And I don't know. I just want to like come up with some mechanics that I think are good, and then see how big I can make it off of that. I think that's going to be generally the way I go, rather than try to figure out the scope and work backwards. I don't know. I don't know what I'm making it. I think it's okay to not know that right now. It's only been, 2 weeks or so.
Well, I mean, yeah. Also, like I remember it was when it came out. It was like October.
Kind came out October 17th, yeah, and then and then it came out.
That's not that long ago.
Nah, and then in November it came out on Stadia.
Yeah, so I think you're still in a perfectly acceptable amount of time to not know exactly what you're doing yet. Like,
yeah, I think and I'm still not done with Stadia. I've still got like I had a couple of conditional waivers that I have to like go back and fix now because they've been fixed. That was I got away with murder in that deal, man. I loved it.
Really?
Well, the way I positioned it was the argument was like, okay, you can have a solo developer for Stadia. This will be something different for your platform, and they were really on board with that. And I was like, but you have to
You're like,
understand,
suckers. Like,
no,
running
no.
out.
Well, it was understood that I'm not a programmer and that I'm building a game entirely in a scripting language on top of Unreal Engine, and that Epic and Stadia would work together and get the engine working, and I wouldn't do anything. Kine would just run because it's in a scripting language on top of the engine, theoretically.
Yeah.
And so there was obviously a lot of UI stuff. There's obviously a lot of work I had to do, but nothing low level, right? And so every time they're like, but there's Vulkan validation errors. I'm like, oh, is that
Well,
Epic's
you go
fault?
talk to Captain Kirk. Like, I don't fucking know. Like,
I started making those kinds. They didn't find that funny.
did they not?
No.
And I went really surface level with that joke as well. Like,
Yeah, I know.
I could have said Sarek. Like, I'm gonna go like.
That one I would have. Yeah, that would have proven that you were more of a nerd, but would have been less on the
Still dumb.
would have
Like,
lost some amount of the audience. The audience maybe wouldn't have followed it,
they're like,
but
but really though, can you fix it? And you're like, well, maybe I could name some more Vulcans like Tuvok. Like, I haven't even said Spock yet. I got loads just coming out my pocket. Like,
oh god, yeah. So they it's just like that. I didn't want to say I got away with murder, but I am still letting those two figure out some of that kind of stuff.
that's pretty good. That you can just be like, yeah, that does sound like a problem. Bye. Like,
Well,
you
I
guys
think
figure it out.
well, for certain low level stuff, that was nice, yeah. And that is the benefit to using any kind of engine is the collaborative bargaining that you get is huge, right?
Nice. Yeah, Epic sound pretty like great all around. Like,
They released some stats recently on their storefront.
oh really? I
Yeah.
haven't noticed. What's the info? I haven't seen any of that.
This is painful because this is the one time when I can't participate in a conversation about this because I know too much.
Oh,
But you can go look up their stats,
I'll look.
what they put.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good showing for their year. It's good.
That's good. That's kind of like the surface level stuff I wanted to know, like how well they do. I know since I like a month of unemployment and I played like 35 hours of Fortnite.
Yeah.
So I got some V-Bucks from me. I know that much.
Yeah. Well, they have got over, I think it was over 100 million people have installed their store and gotten at least one game on PC.
That's
From their
not bad.
storefront.
I mean, do they count Fortnite as that one game? Like, I mean, they should
believe
really.
so.
Like, I don't know why they wouldn't, but like,
Yeah, I believe that one counts. This is the number of Epic, of PC Epic, what do you call it, users. And I know there's obviously a lot of, there's significantly more users that have never gotten a game on the PC storefront. They just have like the mobile app or the console.
Fortnite. Yeah.
Fortnite through something else, yeah.
Yeah, which is, don't get me wrong, that game is good. So it's like, there's a reason I ended up playing 35 hours of it. Like,
they're crushing it. It's like mind blowing seeing how well that game is doing. In general, digging into the stats is always fun. I've been digging into a lot of them lately.
you are a stat digger. That is definitely a
It's not
pastime
healthy.
of Gwen.
It's not healthy.
No,
I mean, it's you.
I'm thinking it is. It doesn't seem, you never come out of it going like, man, I feel good. Like, you never report back in a way where you're like, Chris, I had such a good time looking at those stats. I feel better, like, looking at stuff like that.
It's The reality is depressing. Like, so few games make money. So few. I remember I was looking through it too for like because I'm advising on a thing, and so I have to keep appraised of like what kind of games do well on Steam and so forth, and it's generally like it is such a winner take all system. It's unbelievable.
Heap.
I will.
Like, in what way? Like,
Well, there's the games that make millions and millions of dollars, and then there's the games that make like $100,000. Like, it's very, very winner take all, and it's very few people at the top for the most part, right? I mean, I can
speaking of,
pull up
go
some
ahead.
stuff if you want it, like very specific data, but
I wouldn't even know what to do with that data, Gwen. Like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I've been for the last week. Every time I opened up Steam, one of the games that's like up and coming is like a game called Hentai Nazi or something like
yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I go on it, and I'm like, how the fuck is this still here? Like, what? What is this? And why is it constantly in my... I guess it's just, I don't know, lots of people clicking on it, but I'm like, this is like, I open Steam, I scroll down to look at the chart, and it shows me up and coming before I can look at the chart.
Mm-hmm.
It's like right there every time. I'm like, what are you doing, Steam? This is why you curate things. This is like, this is why you don't just have it as a dump ground. You don't end up with hentai Nazi on the main page of your store.
Anyway. Hey, Steam is up and coming for hentai Nazi. There's a lot there. There's
Yeah,
a lot to unpack right there.
It was a market you didn't know existed. Now you're aware that it super exists.
Oh, that's not even like remotely the most disturbing market in video games alone, as far as like sex game crossovers go. Like that's not even close. They've got like VR rape simulators. They've got some shit out there, man. Like
what?
They do. They just it's the Chris,
I shouldn't be surprised. I guess because I've never looked. Like, I've never gone, I wonder what these sex games are all about. Like, I've never clicked on them.
Why do they always come from Japan? I don't understand that part.
Or at least people that want to tie it into anime. Like,
yeah,
it's always anime. I don't know why, but there we go. Yeah, weird.
Well, that's probably because they can get around certain, like, I don't want to have an intellectual conversation about this, but like, I imagine
I can put an anyway in there. It was me that brought it up, but like
you can get around so there's certain things where if you promote porn, then you can't get certain advertisements, right? Or it'll break certain deals, but anime porn isn't technically porn under certain things. So like you can still.
What about if I drew the person?
It's like, yeah. It's like, what else can I say? Like, this is why anytime you create a system with rules, people will spend their time trying to figure out how to get around the rules. That's just how things work, right? That's why when you moderate a forum, you moderate forums. One of the best things you can do is just have one rule that's a catch-all. Like, and if I feel like you don't belong here, I boot you, and I don't have to explain why.
Because that's the best rule.
Yeah, because like there's a certain amount of like you just know it when you say it. You're an asshole. Like there's a certain amount of.
You gotta have that rule. It's like my first thing I tell people is like, these are rules you should have, and also make sure you have that one rule that says, also I can do whatever the fuck I want if I decide to. So,
otherwise, the rules layers will get you. You know, the rules layers will find a way to be assholes. And this is the same thing. Porn will find a way. Like if you're too. This is people want it, you know. It's part of the internet, Chris Light.
I just like it's the extreme blank where I'm just like, you know, just real ass, just porn, just straight up. It's right there. You didn't have to make like a weird video game where like a drawing did it. Like you could just like this is more effort for like what you want to achieve than you need to go to, I feel. But I don't know. I'm not the target market, I guess. Is what we're learning.
I'm definitely not the target market. I can't help you here at all. I don't know, man. Like I think.
Do you reckon someone who is would be like, let me tell you, like, and they might convince us. Like we'd be like, you know what? You're right. Like, I see your point.
Oh my god! I wonder if they marketed to Pornhub. Like I don't know much. Like could they? What if
they got money? Like they got crazy money, Pornhub. I see like billboards for them in places, and it's like
really.
Yeah,
I haven't. I don't know where you go. I don't get
like in like. I'm sure I've seen like in New York or somewhere like that. There's like Pornhub will do not like you should look at porn like funny ones. I'm sure I've seen like a couple of funny ones that don't have any porn on them, but they're like Pornhub. Also, I'm sure Pornhub were doing something with esports. I might have imagined that. That might have been a dream, but I feel like I heard that at some point. See, this is the conversations you don't get in the interviews. This is why you come with Chris Lair.
Yeah, this is why we have you here, so we can hear about your weird-ass dreams.
I had a dream that Pornhub we're working with esports.
Look, I spent a little bit too time at PAX South. I was getting a little lonely. I was dreaming about esports. My wife's in the other country.
She's in another country. I'm dreaming about esports, you know. This is how it is.
All right, we should stop this and immediately change subject.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, you are making new things, hopefully, which is good and exciting.
Uh,
I am glad to hear it.
at some point, yeah.
How, like, because I just saw actually you are doing a post-mortem about Kine at GDC, which is because I was going to ask you, like, how's that? How's that all gone? Like, I don't, again, because we haven't spoken like every day. I don't really know how it's gone, or like how it did, or what it did, or.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a slow burn. It's not like you have to keep in mind a large number of games dropped at the same time, like specifically a large number of indie games, largely because of like Apple Arcade and all of those. And so
that was great. Like you had Manifold Garden came out on like, was it the same day or like
one day before
after or something?
Yeah, one day before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, good for him too. I'm really, really happy for William Sherry. He's giving 2 talks at GDC. Excited. I hope we don't overlap because I want to go see his. But
yeah, you do your talks on the same day as well. You're like, shit.
Always,
same day, same time.
It drives me nuts. They will definitely do that. They always do that to animators for some reason. They give us like they always put 3 animation talks at the same time, so we can't go to each other's talks. I hate it. But hopefully I get to go see his talk. And it was weird trying to figure out. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do at GDC, and I initially had like for this, I wanted to do a half-hour talk because hour-long talks are a drag. But I didn't know if it was going to be a design talk or a production talk or an art talk, and so I tried to like do just one, and I got feedback from the board, which is like, why aren't you talking about the design of this? So now it's just going to be a fucking catch-all postmortem, and we're going to see, it's just going to cover all of it. It's going to be like, here's what I did. Here's what changed. And, I mean, I guess I could give you some of the takeaways already. I mean,
you don't want to spoil your talk.
That doesn't matter.
It's going to be the...
I mean, things will change between now and then. The thing is, I was keeping, like notes. Like I had notes of what I have the notes of my to-do list of the things I didn't get to when I shipped, and then I have the things that I realized were problems after I shipped, and then 2 weeks passed and I wrote down more high-level notes. And it's weird how your time really gives you perspective. And I think like
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I think the biggest mistake I think I did was launching on multiple platforms at the same time. I think Stadia, Switch, and PC should have been the 3 platforms. Releasing on
why?
It was just a lot of work to come out on all those platforms at the same time. I didn't really have enough energy to focus on doing any one of them right. I didn't really get a lot of this. Like, I don't think I did as well with marketing as I could have done. It's hard to say because it was a really difficult time to be launching. I don't think the sales numbers on PS4 and Xbox really make sense. I think it probably would have made more sense to launch on PC because it's a puzzle game and most people want to play games like this in short bursts while they travel. I think the Switch makes sense. I think mobile would have made sense, perhaps. I think maybe even if supporting tablets would have made sense, though I didn't really do that. But console gamers tend to want to sit down and sink into a game for a while. You understand? Interesting. We've lost Chris Slight. He is no longer here. God damn it. I will have to edit this podcast. And you're back.
Hey. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. It stopped talking on my end, and so I just started going, I don't know if everyone can still hear me, but Gwen is here, I don't know. And then it said you left. But we're back. Hooray. Anyway, so last I heard was you were talking about how the PS4 and the Xbox didn't necessarily make sense, and that maybe you should have looked at mobile a lot more.
Oh, I don't think so. No, I think it was right. I think the right thing to do was to launch on PC first. I think Switch makes sense because people tend to play puzzle games while they travel and stuff. I think Switch was a really good fit for any kind of puzzle game.
That was the only one people asked about. When just anecdotally when we were at PAX.
People asked about Stadia too. I was pretty surprised about that. And Stadia's not. I am glad that I was on Stadia. That was a good decision. Mostly because of the free publicity it got. There were so few titles at launch. Being one of like 20 titles was really nice.
I still remember being at work and like this was when I was at Meow Wolf and like nobody around me cared, but like I was watching the Stadia presentation for E3 just on my computer. And I literally was like, "Oh my god, they're talking about Gwen's game right now. You remember Gwen? You remember Gwen? You met her? Like, yeah, this is her thing." And they were like, "All right." Anyway, and like was doing other stuff, but I was like, "This is crazy. This just who's that? I don't even know who that lady is, and she's just talking about Kai. And this is amazing." That was really cool. Like that in and of itself was worth the price of entry. So
yeah, I mean it was a lot of work to do that Stadia port. So I don't know about that, and it was definitely the most expensive
price of entry for me. Yeah. I was excited. I was like, "Oh, that's kind. That's you remember Gwen? That's the one she's making, and I don't know who that lady is. That's not Gwen. That's someone else."
Yeah, I know. It's a whole other person.
I know.
There's other people in the world.
About it. Yeah, it was really exciting and then it was like Destiny and then Kine.
Yeah, I know.
And then like another game that was like huge.
Which is like,
and I was like,
do you understand how ridiculous this is? Like I am one person. Like they did not need to do. I'm very, very fortunate to have landed that. That was a lot of luck. Like a lot of this was just a lot of luck. But
agree. You gotta be ready for the luck.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Kine was.
Yeah, I was in the right place at the right time. That's for damn sure. But yeah, so I think the Stadia thing was a good call. And I think that's going to continue to be a good call. I'm interested to see how that goes, especially when Stadia becomes free sometime in 2020.
Yeah, I'll get to try it. That will be. I'd like to try it. I'm just waiting for it to get to. I didn't pre-order one of the super bundles, so I'm just waiting for it to like be available to non-super bundle buyers.
Yeah, this is very selfish, but I've been pinging them. I'm like, when are you going to do that? Because I want to. Kine is the cheapest thing on their platform. And if I could just. And I'm like, well, everyone's going to want to try it. Maybe I can make Kine really cheap and then everyone will buy it because it'll be the cheapest thing you can buy to try Stadia. That's in my head, right? Because I want to make money to eat food. So, like, I'm trying to, like. I just keep trying to poke them like, hey, so maybe sale? And they're just like, we can't tell you when anything is going to happen. We will.
But when you do.
I know. Oh, they know.
Remember? Destiny, then me, then something else.
Yeah.
My friend was very happy.
I think they've that would be very nice of them. But I mean, at the end of the day, they have to look after their own interests too. And they did act as a publisher. Like they've got... put yourself in their shoes. They invested quite heavily, and the only exclusive they have out right now is Guilt. There are other exclusives that are coming. I think they announced now there's 10 this year.
Like timed exclusives that they're getting.
That they funded from the beginning. Guilt is the first one of their timed exclusives, and it came out at launch. And that one, because they invested a lot of money in it, and because it's exclusive to their platform, if I was them, I would be trying pretty hard to promote that. You know. So I suspect the other first-party titles will get priority. First-party titles always get priority.
Well, yeah, that would make sense for them to do, but you know,
that's
from a selfish perspective.
Yeah, there was an ongoing conversation between me and some of the nice people at Nintendo, because when you search for Kine on the Switch, up until last week, it was the 13th result.
Oh my god, that was so stupid. I bought it the day it came out on the Switch because I just got back from New Mexico. It was not too long after that, so I was all sad and stuff. But I was super happy that my friend's game had come out, and I was like, "Fuck it, I don't care. I haven't got a job. I'm buying Gwen's game." So I got it, downloaded. But I went to search for it, and it was like, why is this difficult to fucking find? And I already had my opinions on the Nintendo eShop, where I was like, this is already a wasteland of me not being able to fucking find anything, and it being some sort of dump. So I was like, you don't need to comment, but it sucked. I was like, why is this so fucking hard to find? It's the only game called Kine.
I know.
The first. That's just a search engine. I feel like I couldn't build one, but I feel like many other people, including Nintendo, have already done it. So it was
you don't want to be a bitch about it, but I also felt really, I was like, guys, it's why is it the 13th? Basic. Yeah, and I mean now they did they actually had to send that back to Japan and look into it. And now if you search for Kind, and then if you search for Kind, it's first going to sort by highest sales. So it's still going to give you like the 12 various Nintendo games before you get to Kind. But if you go sort by relevancy, now it will Kind is third. So this is a win.
I just searched KINE.
I know.
Nothing else. Why would it be like, you want Mario? And I'd be like, no. I would have searched Mario if I wanted Mario.
Because there's a character called Kind in the Nintendo universe, and first-party games get priority on your platform, Chris. That's actually something I didn't predict being a huge problem.
But, like, who's searching for what Kind is? Like, I've never heard of Kind, the Mario friend. Like, who's that? Like,
yeah, me neither. But it's a whole thing, yeah.
They were like, you've heard of Kind, you know, friends with the Hamburglar. Like, no, I haven't heard of Kind. But my video game, anyway. But yeah, that's good that they've kind of fixed that, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind.
Yeah. We got that as I did what I could there. As a certain amount of you're at the whim of the platforms. You're always at the whim of the platforms, you know.
Oh yeah. Like, what are you gonna do? They're gonna be like, who are you? Kind. That's our character, right?
I mean, in a way, I know it is hard. It's hard because like Stadia's sitting over here, like, we'll give you press at E3, and I'm like, holy shit. And Switch is Nintendo's like, we'll make it so that you're all right. I guess a couple months after launch, we'll make it so that when people search for the name of your game, it'll come up third if they click an extra screen. I was like, thanks.
Thanks, guys. I mean, I guess it's lucky I'm on this platform. What with the
it is actually
shit you let on this platform.
To be fair, it is. Like, to be fair, they don't
seen the shit in that store though. There is like some weird shit that I'm like, this looks like stuff that Apple would reject from their app store. Like, this looks like Google Play Store games. Like, what the fuck is this?
I'm clearly not a mobile.
I don't think you are that lucky. Like, it's like
this looks like stuff that Apple would reject and would be on the Google Play Store. I don't know enough about the phone drama.
It's not drama. It's more just like I see games like on this, because there's always sometimes games that are in the charts on the Switch. Like, it'll be like number 8 because it's like 59 cents, and it just seems to keep cropping up through the chart via that price. But it's like the most fucking weird looking, like an Angry Birds ripoff or something like that, and you're like, how the fuck did this get the Nintendo seal of quality? Like, what the fuck is this? Like,
dude, the rip-off games on mobile make me just concerned for the future a little bit, I guess. I don't know. We'll see.
There's always been a billion of them. Like,
no shit.
There was a brief period when if you had a Wii U before Minecraft came out on it, and there was like 14 games that looked exactly like Minecraft that weren't Minecraft that all just kept cropping up in the charts because you couldn't get the Minecrafts. Yeah. So there was loads of them, and then they all, like, once Minecraft came out, they were all like, oh. But there was a million of those.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I remember when I was working on Stadia, like when I was developing it, I had to get the app, and I didn't read the documentation correctly that I was supposed to download an APK, so I just went on the Google Play Store and I just downloaded a bootleg Stadia app that had nothing to do with Stadia. It was like siphoning my info for a while, and it's like, why is this not working?
Why doesn't this work? Why have I got to put in my credit card again?
Oh God.
That's a shame.
The state of the industry. That's one of the things I'm really curious to see what Epic does with their store. I hope. I mean, they talk a lot about opening it up and being like a competitor to Steam, but and that's good and bad, right? Like, it would be better if there was more games in that storefront. They definitely need to hit a certain critical mass where people are searching there for games, you know? Because I suspect people aren't like browsing their store like they do Steam. So I think they need more games, but I do like that it's curated still. I don't know exactly where that mix is. I suspect the mix that I want is enough that it gets me specifically visibility, but isn't so many that people can't find my game specifically, you know? Like, so long as I'm in. I know, right? Like, that's the problem with indies. We all have like the idea of how things should be, and it's obviously the thing that's best for me would be the right thing to do.
I think games like Kind should really be featured prominently. Like,
no, but only mine though, none of the others. And
no,
when
I say like, I mean
just only mine though. Yeah.
Yeah, that just big banner. Like, it's purple. It looks nice. It fits the store's black. Like, it looks really good. Like, you did it when it came out. Just do that again. And I think you'd solve a lot of your problems.
Yeah, yeah. Dude. So yeah, like the launch went well. I mean,
Nice.
I'm good. I've got like enough money to chill for a little bit. I'm gonna figure out what I'm
That's
doing
good.
next and all that. You know, trying not to drown in the stats because it does make me sad.
Yeah, just avoid that as much as you can. Though that's like saying that to anyone. Like, just don't do it. And you're like, well, I'm gonna do it. So,
Yeah. Well,
but it's a pattern for a reason because I keep doing it, and
yeah.
and it ain't killing you. It's just
Yeah, and it's the other thing is like I'm advising this other fund, so I see other people's pitches, and part of that too is I have to come up with like a reason why I think something will be profitable. So I have to go look at some of these sites and be like, okay, and I have to find comps, and so I'm
what can
already
you do?
there, and it's yeah, and so you end up doing it anyways. There's no hope.
Just when you got out,
I never got out.
pulling you back in.
I never got out. I do think that was hiring Sergey. Like when Epic hired Sergey, I knew something was up. I said it on the podcast.
You did.
I called it. I get no
You're
points for calling it, but I did.
Well, just find that audio clip and just start posting it around and say that you called it and like tag them and everything.
Gwen said there'd be a store, an Epic store, 1 year before it happened. Yeah,
My God, she cracked the code.
yeah, if only. Yeah, I don't know what this next year is going to be. This next year is still. I mean, we got AAA coming up. We got. I mean, obviously, there was the big news from Microsoft that they're not doing any. It launched any exclusives, or I'm sorry, all their games are coming out on both the Xbox One and the new console.
It's like so, and the new console and PC all
Yeah.
at the same time, which again is it's part of our play anywhere strategy. That's their thing, which is fine. But like, and it's like the dumbest of reasons for me to be like about it. It's just that I now realistically, I probably have no reason to be excited about the new console at all. Like, I don't, I don't even own a TV at the moment, but when I do, I probably won't have a 4K TV again. So like, why do I like? It's the only thing I can think is they like would be world exclusive game. And it's just like slightly better on this one if you want, but if not, it's fine on the others.
Well, I
It's
mean,
like
it's good.
it's pro
It's good for
consumer, but it's
consumers.
just
It's
yeah.
good for consumers, and it like they're doing a lot of things that are interesting. They are leaning hard into the subscription model. Specifically, the way they're leaning into the subscription model is interesting. That you can now rent a console as well as getting a Game Pass subscription with it.
Yeah,
That's a hell of a play.
they've been trialing that like since the 360, like, but only like you could only do it in like certain Microsoft stores for a while, and like it was very specific that they were doing it. But they've been kind of building towards that for a while. It's just like I don't know. It's the same thing where Sony are like, we're not at E3 again. I get it and it makes sense, but the sad game
Oh
man
yeah, I forgot
is
about
like,
that.
yeah, I'm just like, oh, but I like that thing. And for some reason, I was like, but I want the new console and I want to know it's the good one. And I put my game in it and I'm like, yeah, the
I
good
think
one.
honestly, I think the Game Awards are better than E3 at what E3 was. Like when it comes to hyping the gamers, the Game
Really?
Awards, like I know it's got that like for one thing, the
I
Game
don't give a
Awards is
shit about the Game
not about
Awards.
the awards. It's all about the
No,
exclusive
it's the
trailers.
trailers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care about the awards. And also, do you know, like last year, me and two friends, like both that work at XSplit, so they were like, why don't we stream us watching the Game Awards? And I was in America, so we were all in relatively not too far time zones at that point.
hmm
And I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? And that was like the first time I think I'd actually sat and watched it. And I
hmm
was just like, I don't like this. I don't care like about a lot of this. Like, I get that, and I always feel like such a bitch like when I talk about it because I'm like, I follow their account and they'll post like pictures of Jeff Keighley like looking like, I'm working really hard here, guys. Like gazing out into like the rehearsals or
Yeah.
something, and I'm like, I get it. Jeff Keighley's working really hard for us to have this wonderful show, but I'm just like, it ain't that good. Like and again, it's mostly indifference that I have for it. I'm just like,
I just
I
want the
don't care.
trailers.
I
And
know, but
this
I
is
can just
just,
watch them whenever I
I,
want on YouTube.
yeah,
I
but
don't need the show.
this is fun because we're all watching the trailers at the same time. It's nice. And
I
I
guess that's
understand.
my argument for E3 though. So it's like,
Well, E3, I mean, I think the other side of this is Nintendo proved you don't have to physically be at E3 to be a part of
no,
the hype. Nintendo
yeah, you
just
don't need to do
drops
a
a
press
video.
conference.
And those videos, like, they do really well, and they're honestly, like, I'm more excited for the Nintendo videos usually than I am for the stage shows with Sony and Microsoft.
So what I like, and this is what I mean when what I was like, fucking Game Awards, and then I'm like, but I like exactly the same thing about E3, which is I do like it's the weekend of E3. We all get to watch the thing and all talk about it, and they save all the things up to be like, look at the things,
Yeah,
and I like all of that shit. I don't know why the Game Awards just hasn't clicked with me. I guess because
maybe.
I don't know.
I think, but I mean, Nintendo saves a shit ton of money by just having those videos. It's a really smart strategy.
I
And
mean,
I
they
think,
still exhibit at the expo hall, though. That's the difference that Sony's making. They're just not there. Like, they're not there at all.
yeah,
There
but like,
is
who
no
gives a
Sony
shit?
booth.
Do you really care? Like, do you wander around the booths at E3? I don't go to E3.
I
Uh,
did once. Like, I got a pass one year. Like, I'd always work with Devolver, who were in, like, a parking lot across the road. So I'd
oh,
never
that's right.
actually go in there. But, like, I did one year, and it's kind of cool. But, like,
Yeah,
it's the same as anywhere, really. Like,
they're all the
it's,
same. And it's
yeah.
not what makes E3 special. And what makes it
No, the
special is
conferences
those
and,
shows. And the
yeah.
thing that it costs a lot. I mean, yes, the statues and being on the show floor cost a lot, but so do those shows. Like when Microsoft drops that like Ferrari from the fucking ceiling and shit. Like that's not
Microsoft.
cheap. Like,
No, I
that's
bet it ain't. Got fucking what was it? John Carmack standing up on a podium somewhere, like hello, like standing in the corner, ready to talk about VR.
yeah.
Like that was it's something that I'm just like I know it's dumb and stupid, but I still love it. Like it's still like it'll come around. I'm like yay, go games, all the exciting games. Look at them
Yeah.
now.
Sony's show last year wasn't particularly like,
I don't think they did. Well, their last
wasn't
show.
it? The last show was the one where they had the four games.
Yeah, that was the year before
Yeah.
last.
Oh, that's right.
They
Yeah.
weren't at last year's either. That the one with the revolving stage was like that was intense. Sony always, like I said, Sony's was we always used to talk about that, and I was like, Sony just seemed to want you to know how much money they've got. Like they really want you to know. Look at
Yeah.
how much money we've spent. So I guess maybe like calming that down does make sense, but
Yeah.
still, I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting, and like the thing with the exclusives is like it makes sense. Like it's another thing where I'm like, I get it. I get why you're doing it. It's just it's a bit of gaming that like doesn't necessarily make sense to the way people consume stuff anymore. Like sticking around, but it's still like I'm like, oh, and it's like I miss the dumbest thing. It's like I miss purchasing a product. Like I'm like, no, why can't I buy the nice box? It's
Well,
like,
it used to be such a decision. Like you had to
yeah,
get together with your friends. You all had to argue and come up with the one that you were going to get, so you could all play together,
yeah, you had to
right?
agree. And if you were the one with like the wrong one, it was like you fucked up. Like
Yeah.
this kid, he doesn't know it. He's in our school. It was like you had a Super Nintendo. There was like two kids that had a Super Nintendo, and it was like,
Looks like you two need to be friends and find other
yeah,
friends because you don't get to hang
yeah.
out with us. Yeah.
No, we're going to be playing. I mean, I didn't have a Mega Drive or the Genesis. I had a Master System, but I could still be like, yeah, but guys, I can still play Sonic. So I'm not as bad as that guy with his weird Mario game, right? And they were like, he is right. And I was like, yeah, I knew I was right. So,
Chris Light, being a bully since the early days.
yeah, or at least not being bullied by focusing the bully on someone else.
Uh huh.
You got this crappy old one. Do I? But what about him? He's worse than me. Like, he's right. And I'm like, I knew it. Not bullied today.
Oh God. All right, we should. I don't know what we're gonna say this podcast was about because we talked about so much random shit. This is the throwback.
Yeah, this is the dialogue box. God
This
damn it.
this is the dialogue box. God damn it. This has been Gwen Frey and Chris Light, and you've been in the dialogue box. And that's the end of that. All right, and now we can talk to Twitch.
Hi, Twitch. Did
Hey,
anyone
Twitch.
have questions?
Oh.
Probably not. It's just blabbered shit at them for a while.
Like that was, yeah, we didn't have any kind of like structure or plan there.
No. It's
Hey.
good to talk, Gwen. That's the main thing.
It is good to talk. Guys, I have missed these. These are good.
Yeah. I'm guessing nobody... We can wait. If you got a question, I'm not looking at chat. Actually, I could look at it on my mobile device.
Oh, you could, yeah. Yeah, sorry. They said good words. I had a tetanus shot today.
Did you?
Yeah.
You can stick your hand right in the nail now.
Punched repeatedly in the arm.
Oh no.
Hey, AI chatbot. What are you looking forward to at PAX, Chris Light? The people want to know.
I actually am looking forward to going around and seeing a lot of games. Like, I don't at every show, like, because most of the time you go to a show, you have like a space that you're in, like that's where you're working, and so it's normally only on a break or something that you go and wander around and stuff like that. But this show, I'm there like for meetings and to like see people that use XSplit, give out some shirts, do that kind of stuff. So I'm wandering around is part of the game. So I'm actually looking forward to just going around trying a lot of games. That's sort of what I want to do this time. So more than anything, just actually getting to try stuff. Also, Mixer are doing a pie on Friday that I'm told should be cool. So I'm going to that.
I just generally, it's like so not my scene. I've gone to like the Twitch. This was before I knew you, but I went to one of those parties and somebody had to explain to me that they were cool because they had a purple sweater on that said Twitch on it or something.
Oh, Gwen.
And I'm like, and you could see like the like.
They were like, you don't think I'm cool?
Yeah, like the sad, like if you have to explain to a chick that you're cool, you're actually not cool. Like the reality, like no, but like the realization that like this is not working. It was really distressing. I tried to explain that I'm just old, but you know, what are you gonna do?
His like Twitch don't do crazy parties to that level anymore. They used to do them a lot, and then Amazon bought them, and I think they went like, "Whoa, what's this budget?" And like, I was
told Amazon left Twitch mostly alone, but that might just be people from.
I think they potentially have. There was a lot of layoffs, but like I think this was like 2 years ago. Like it's a matter of public record. So I'm not like exposing anything, but like they laid off like a bunch of like original people, and there was, I guess maybe not a lot. I don't know, but they used to have huge crazy pies, and also the Twitch hoodies thing was a big deal until they started selling Twitch merchandise like on Amazon. You can't get that one specific partner hoodie that's that specific color of purple. But realistically, so many people have Twitch hoodies now, and they've got the affiliate program, so people can subscribe to you.
It's stupid. Yeah,
they've diluted like the desire for those things so much now, so it's not big. But that was the real thing.
Mixer
back in the day.
Mixer getting Ninja and getting the other exclusives. I wonder if that matters. Like, I really don't think it does. Like, I don't think it moved. I don't think their audience moved with them. I mean,
So it doesn't, right? Like, it doesn't in, like you say, like when you go and look at the numbers, it was like Ninja would be pulling in like 20,000, like that kind of number, and now he's pulling in like 7,000, like 6, 4, like stuff like that whenever I clip in, which is obviously a decrease.
Yes.
But yes, you are right. That is less numbers than the ones you said before. Thanks for explaining that.
No, but I think in order for this to, a certain amount of money has to be spent to get a certain number of people into that platform for it to snowball. And I'm not convinced Microsoft has the. They have the money. I'm not convinced they have the will to spend the amount of money that I think they would probably have to spend to get that snowballing to happen. And I'm not even.
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, like, I don't know what to do if you're them, to be honest. Like,
well, what it's done, like more than anything, is it's put them in a more global conversation. Like the day Mixer got Ninja was a big deal. Like Ninja had become someone that people mainstream knew. And even though, like, if you looked at numbers, he was declining slightly on Twitch. He wasn't like the big shiniest of stars. He was still one of the shiny stars. And from a mainstream perspective, he was like the streamer. Like it was PewDiePie before him as the person that was the game kid person.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Ninja. And like you saw Ninja on like I don't know if he was on Ellen, but he was on Ellen levels of programming. And it was like, oh shit. And so Mixer signing this thing was like news outside of video games. And the biggest thing that's done is just put that name out there that like Mixer is a thing that exists. Like, and that's where streaming happens. And that's the beginning of a process. Like that was like I remember the day that happened. It was insane. Like, like it's like they fucking what? They bought Ninja for cash money.
Trying to purchase the biggest people in Twitch. I don't know if that's the right solution. I don't know what the solution is. I think, every now and then I fantasize about being in charge of something important, but I just feel like I feel like if I was in charge of Mixer, I would have tried to find a niche that Twitch wasn't hitting and hit that really hard and put money into that very hard, which would probably honestly be not gaming. I would probably try to find some other use, what else do people use this medium for? Talk shows, like come up with a format. Microsoft had the capacity, if they wanted to work with NFL and work with different sports teams. And wouldn't it be nice if there was a platform that was specifically tailored for people who want to put their own video feed and audio feed over like sportscasting? Like I think that has still, I think that has the potential to be massive in a way that's bigger. Traditional sports are bigger than esports, right? Like football is a big deal. And I mean, I hate listening to these fucking commentators. And how much cooler would it be if there was an ecosystem of different commentators you could listen to, or if you could participate in that ecosystem and be one of the commentators? Like, I feel like there's other ways we could use this platform, and just simply saying, oh, we're going to do exactly what Twitch does because it works, but we're going to do it, but we're behind, so throw money at it doesn't feel good.
The problems you run into are like content owners. Like that's the immediate thing. The reason you do gaming is because gaming has a space that has a precedent set that anyone can broadcast it and do stuff with it.
Yeah.
Whereas anything else, like any other medium, has got that shit locked down. Like the NFL would have to produce that, or do some big money with like people like Microsoft.
These large tech firms don't usually balk at the idea of supplying the hardware and the means for it, though. Like if NFL, for instance, like if they wanted to make something like this, the NFL, they could stream it directly they could embed it in NFL's website and just take a chunk of the back end because they're running the servers or whatever, right? Like the whole idea of we run your cloud servers, you pay us, you do what you want with it. The whole idea of we are a tech company supplying the back end stuff. In a way, I almost kind of feel like, I mean, this goes into my opinions about Stadia, but there's ways for Stadia to pivot where they don't have a storefront necessarily, in my opinion. And I don't know. That's, again, Gwen runs shit. But like, I'm excited to see what Stadia does. Like, I don't know where they go from here or what they're doing. I have no visibility into it. But anyway, I could see a world where if they still have from what I can see, the best servers and the best streaming tech out there, and they could just license that to Steam. Like take a percentage and let the entirety of Steam's library run on Proton on like these Linux servers. Like it's not impossible, but
Microsoft are kind of doing that, right? Like they've been doing that with PlayStation.
They're doing it with Windows hardware and with the xCloud is the streaming tech is not quite as solid as what you're seeing on Stadia, but then it's a lot easier to get involved in because you don't have to port to Linux. They can just run their Windows stuff. They're doing things very differently. They're careful about what games they allow to stream, and especially at the gate. We'll see where xCloud goes. They're definitely like ramping that up very carefully and intentionally.
Yeah. I mean, like, even when you were talking about, like, circling it back a little bit, just because streaming is a thing I think about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that's the big question is the one you asked, which is, like, what's the thing that's next? Because, as someone mentioned, they were like, Elliot Grant, like, Twitch is not growing, and Google has the power to feed more users to YouTube gaming. I don't think Microsoft and Amazon has the same opportunities to grow, which is interesting. YouTube gaming is something that's interesting. They're starting to do we've just signed exclusive people, which immediately I was like, I thought YouTube gaming was done. Like, I remember that launching, and it was like, YouTube gaming.
Is that the one is it YouTube or Facebook that's huge in China? It's Facebook.
Facebook, I believe, yeah. Facebook are a very big, like, streaming platform, like, outside of Western things. But yeah, the big question is, like, what's the next thing? Because, like you say, this has a lot of, like, potential, and there's something, I don't know what it is, but that's kind of the question that, like, a lot of these companies are asking, which is, like, what's the next thing? Like, where is the puck going, as the saying goes? But, like, there's something to that, and whoever kind of thinks of that, which, like you say, Microsoft's strategy of, like, be Twitch but slightly better, and Twitch have incorporated so many of their innovations at this point that it's like, oh well, there's not really there's now less reasons for me to go over to there than there ever was, and they still don't have, like, the breadth of people that stream to it. It's interesting because they're always at PAX now. Like, Twitch don't exhibit at these events anymore. There's now, their space was taken over by Mixer, but even then, it's like there's still kind of less going on at the booths. Like, there's not, like, the big stage. They're not doing the big thing. They've just got a video with Ninja on it.
I just balk at the idea that in order to sell a online thing, a thing that's really big for people who are really big on the internet shit, you should go to a physical place. Like, I just feel like, I mean, I'm a person who sells video games, and I'll tell you, like, you get some sales at PAX. It's arguable. I go there to meet other indies, to make business connections. I don't go there to promote my brand that much. I don't think it really gets you that. Your boots in the ground there are nothing compared to a single tweet. Like,
this is true.
As far as roots go.
I mean, you mentioned the purple hoodie thing. That was a period of time when Twitch had that. They actually had cachet and cool. So then having events and parties was actually, like, a big thing that people wanted to go to. And they were like, oh my god, you're going to have a Twitch party? Holy, like, I remember that being, like, a fucking crazy deal to people. Like, even at TwitchCon, it was like, oh, you're invited to the main big party and you're VIPs, and it was like, yeah, we work for Expert, they've invited us. And it was like, whoa, and I didn't even fucking know, like, when I first started. I was like, that's a big deal to you? Oh, okay, maybe I will try and get one of these hoodies. Never managed to get one, but
just missed that whole phase. Like, I just until you brought me onto this shit, I did not do this shit. Like, this was I am on the internet because of you, Chris Light.
Hey, if I've done one good thing for the world, it's introduced Gwen to the amazing world.
True neutral thing for the world. Neutral.
Do we have anything else, or?
They were mostly talking about YouTube stuff, which is way over my head.
Yeah, YouTube.
YouTube gaming will surpass Mixer and Twitch in the next few years. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't. So YouTube has all the potential of the fact that they've got so many people on it, but the problem with YouTube is they've been making it harder and harder for their creators to make money. So their creators are publicly moaning about that for years, and their creators are going to places like Twitch to make money and using Patreon a lot more, and so it's a bit of an uphill battle, like and to make it like a live streaming platform, it's like, again, even though I use YouTube all the time, it's still not a place I ever go to consume live streaming content. And the percentage of people that ever talk to me, because I'm now doing some community management for XSplit, like, as a part of my job as a whole, barely anyone ever's asking me about YouTube. Like, it's always Twitch, Mixer, and Facebook. I hear
For
about
the people who are making the content, yeah.
Yeah,
So, well, but I mean,
don't
this goes down to like the Steam versus Epic thing. What matters more, the people making the content or the people who are consuming the content? It's
They're
hard to
very
say.
intertwined in streaming. Is the interesting thing.
Oh, a lot of streamers are also
Viewers,
viewers. Yeah, that
yeah,
makes sense.
and
Yeah, I mean,
viewers as streamers, because it's got,
yeah.
even from when I started doing it to even from like when we started doing the podcast to now, it's getting so much simpler all the time to be able to stream.
Elliot says
And
streamers get new audiences a lot faster on
the
YouTube than they do on Twitch.
yeah, I mean that's a whole interesting conversation because Twitch. And we don't have to go too far into it, but because I realized I was like, we should probably go. And I'm like, well, fucking, let me tell you, Gwen. But like, it's a real thing that if you want to grow on Twitch, doing it just on Twitch isn't going to work anymore. And that's different to just 2 to 3 years ago. But now you should probably make content on YouTube that is different to your content on Twitch, that also directs people to your Twitch. Like, you're going to make more money on Twitch, but you're not going to grow an audience as easily as you would do on YouTube because their algorithm's so much better on YouTube. Whereas Twitch, there's basically next to no algorithm. It's like there's a box in the middle with like 4 things that are like, maybe you would like these. And that's just 4 out of the millions of people that are online at that point. So it's not tailored. Like, it's like, you looked at this one game once. Like, yeah, I guess I did. But like, so yeah, there's that. You should be making content in many different places in order to like
at the end of the day,
succeed.
these streaming platforms, I don't understand why Twitch has to have anything to do with gaming whatsoever. Like, I don't play video games on Twitch. I make video games and I like watching musicians. And I think what Twitch is it's the ability for people to be performers in different ways, right? Like, it's the ability for anybody to be a performer. And the fact that so many people see it as like a way all of the performers are funny dudes playing video games, which is, I guess, fine. But I feel like there's, like there's a whole wealth of like there's other like you could be making a news show like where you interact with the audience. You could do any TV show format ever where you interact with an audience. I feel like this idea that it has to be people playing video games is really holding back the medium. It's
not for want of people trying. Like, there's been plenty of things where it's like, I think I forgot what it was called, but there was a sitcom someone was doing for a little while where it was like, you can decide what happens in the sitcom on Twitch chat. Didn't really get anywhere. Like, no one has yet actually done anything that's been like, the closest I've seen of late is D&D. Like, D&D's got pretty big, and it's also got pretty big on Twitch. Like, it is pulling in quite big numbers.
I feel like classes could be.
I agree.
I can even see the monetization model. Like, say you want to teach... Freya was here last week. What if she wants to teach math, and you have to pay to be there in the class, and everybody can see the video afterwards, but if you pay to be in the class, then you ask questions, and you're permanently embedded in the video as... Freya will be like, hi, name, here's the answer to your question. Like, I can see that, and I can see this being an amazing platform for that. That's one of the reasons why I'm so frustrated that Mixer didn't push in different directions, because I do feel like there's a lot of different directions that could have been pushed in. Personally, I don't know. What the fuck do I know? I don't... But the other side of this is I don't know why you watch people play video games for the most part.
And I do a lot of that, so it's like, I can't argue on that point. But I mean, just that on its own, I'm like, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Like, I agree that there should be streams.
Twitch starting with gaming is just Amazon starting with books. Well, when are they going to grow out of it, Elliot? That's the question.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And when Mixer was moving into the space, why did they start in the exact same space? I don't know. Whatever. I'm not in charge. So.
Oh, you haven't got into the whole platforms that do cryptocurrency yet. That's a whole thing that's getting big.
Cryptocurrency is already massive, has been massive for years. Why?
No,
What do you mean?
I mean streaming platforms that mine crypto while you watch the stream, and the streamer and you get some crypto while you're watching. That's a big thing that multiple people are trying to get going. The biggest one I think at the moment is DLive, and it's interesting. It's a thing I look at and go,
You know what?
how
They're
well will this
innovating.
do?
You know what? They're innovating. They're doing a thing. Whatever.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Anyway, we should probably wrap this up, Gwen.
Is it? Yeah. We should let you sleep. You are going to be working tomorrow. Working, kind of, at PAX South. I'm jealous. Have fun.
It'll be fun. Thank you, Gwen. Good talking to you as ever. Thank you for being here, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Bye.
Bye.